single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Simply Sheeta, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. Did you overeat or did you stick to what you were supposed to be doing? Okay guys, let's just jump right into this today. I really hope you guys had a great holiday. Mine went exactly as planned. I told you guys I was going to fix seafood, which I did, but I also told you in my last video that I had prepared a meal that was very Thanksgiving type, you know, in its nature. But I had prepared it on the Sunday before Thanksgiving because I wanted to kind of give myself and my daughter time to eat it prior, you know, in the days ahead. So we kind of had the meal. This meal kind of served as a pre-Thanksgiving meal, which, as you can see, has all of the ingredients of a regular Thanksgiving meal. And I only had this one particular plate with everything that you see pictured. I only had that one night, but the way that I was looking at it, if I was to go to someone's house or if I was to actually have cooked that full, you know, meal on Thanksgiving, that is more than likely what my plate would have looked like. And as you can see, it really wasn't a lot that I was able to eat off of it. So seafood was the thing for us on Thanksgiving Day, and I cooked the seafood at 9 a.m. One thing that you will learn having VSG surgery is that your body clock is going to be totally different. I typically eat very, very early in the morning, and by very early, typically I have my breakfast at about 7 a.m. And I mean, I sit down and I have, you guys know, my one egg and my one piece of bacon or my one sausage. 7 o'clock, sometimes 6:30. It depends on what time I wake up. But I eat an early breakfast, which tends to lead me to having like an early, what I call my second breakfast. And anybody that is a Lord of the Rings fan know exactly what I mean by saying that. But I will tend to eat again probably about 10:30 to 11. So in cooking meals, you know, when I cook now, sometimes depending on what it is, I tend to make it early in the day. I figure if I make it early enough, I'll be able to enjoy it, you know, a little bit more of it than I would as if I made it at dinner time. You know what I mean? So I made seafood at 9. My daughter had it for breakfast. We had it for, you know, I had it for second breakfast. I had it for lunch. I ended up having it for dinner. But, you know, for me, it was maybe 3 or 4 mussels and a shrimp or 2 each time. The crab legs were primarily for her, as well as, like I told you guys, the crab cakes. I think I had 1 crab leg. And that was my first time having them. And it went down really, really good. And it actually was really good. So Christmas, I'm going to definitely get myself you know, a cluster, I guess, to have, because I tend to do the Feast of the Seven Fishes, which is, you know, an Italian tradition, but considering the fact that, you know, I'm trying to have a largely protein-based diet, it really truly works out perfectly for me. But I've been doing that for years. I want to talk to you guys about weight loss stalls versus slow weight loss post-op VSG. Because when I weighed myself for my video this morning, I was at 256.4. Now, if you watch my last video, you know that is a slight difference from my last weight, which was 258. But guys, I have to tell you, I was stuck on that 258 for a very long time. It seemed like it had to be a good 2 weeks. And that is what I think is how you can tell the difference between a stall versus slow weight loss. Now, don't get me wrong. I know, even though I don't like to really compare my journey to anyone else's, I know that my numbers monthly have been on the low end. I'm okay with that. I don't mind being a slow loser, because this, the slower you lose the weight, the better your body has, at a kind of bouncing back from it. Your skin is supposed to, sag less. I mean, trust me, I have loose skin anyway, and I'm going to have loose skin, but there are benefits, of course, to slow weight loss because you keep it off longer. But in the end, what I think I was experiencing was an actual stall, because the weight would not change. My weight was sitting at 258.6, guys, every single time I got on that scale. It wasn't 259, it wasn't 257, it wasn't even 258.4. It was 258.6, and that is the difference. So I came up with an acronym that I'm going to, tell you guys about today, because this is the approach that I've taken, and that I am going to take when I face this again in the future, because it's bound to happen again. Weight loss stalls are part of having weight loss surgery. Weight loss stalls are part of a weight loss period. It doesn't even matter if you had weight loss surgery. You can hear about someone going, to the gym and working out and eating and doing all these other things to lose weight, and they will get to a point of plateau, and their weight loss will stall. We know with weight loss surgery it's a little bit different, but nonetheless it's a stall, and this is how I've decided, and the approach I'm going to take to deal. First, starting with the letter S, we're going to first stop. What I did is I had to actually stop and pay attention to see that I was actually in the stall, guys. When you're on this journey, it's those details that matter. You have to really pay attention to the details. So right away, about 3 or 4 days in, I'm like, hey, the scale isn't moving. What's going on? And just being able to recognize that my loss has stopped was very, very big. So the first thing I did was I had to stop and recognize that something was wrong. Letter H is I had to be honest with myself. I had to ask myself, what am I doing that I should be doing differently, both good and bad? I told you guys, I was very open with you about not meeting my protein goals, not meeting my fluid goals in recent weeks, and kind of reverting back to some bad habits. I am working on that, as well as making certain that I get my vitamins in, because I've told you guys before, I feel the difference in my body. I was feeling the difference in my body, and I realized it's important that I make sure, I take my vitamins and stay hydrated. But the protein is definitely the most important part of the whole game, and I have to admit, and I'm sorry to admit, I really, really had kind of been dropping the ball on that. So that's me being honest. Letter A is accountability, and again, that just comes with me recognizing and being honest about the fact that I haven't been doing the best that I could do. Now, guys, I told you before, I do have, I had a thyroidectomy. I do not have a thyroid, and I do have to see my endocrinologist to find out if, to get my levels and the medication adjusted. And I don't do that until this Thursday. So I don't know if that may be playing into it or not, but we're going to see. We're going to see, because in the end, I have a goal to meet by the end of the year. And I feel like I had to rumble to lose the weight that I lost in November. And it kind of totals up to be about 6 pounds, I think. And I only have 6 more pounds to lose to hit my end of the year goal of hitting 250 pounds. So this is real. This is real. Letter R, I like to use for reevaluating my current eating habits, my current levels of activity. Just reevaluating what I've been doing is also an important part of breaking the stall. I am not in the gym. I told you guys I'm not in the gym. I still am going to do a video about that. I just had other things going on. My activity level is really just me moving and getting around my house, and when I go out, the little things like parking furthest from the store and walking and doing things like that. That's for me a lot, because there was a time where I would simply go to work. I would walk to my car, get in my car, drive to work, get out my car, walk half a block into my building, sit in a sedentary job all day, and do the same thing to go home, and that would be the extent of my exercise. Seriously. So that's big for me, to be able to get up and get moving and stay moving, physically moving. Of course, your body will learn to adapt, and your body will stop, it'll come easy. It won't recognize that as exercise. And I recognize that that is something that is going to be an integral part of my journey. But that is not my focus right now. And I will, again, talk about this letter, guys. And I'm sure by now you can kind of see where we're going with this word. The last letter is the letter E. And the E is for basically energy that I need to now expend fixing what's broken. Not to say I'm broken, but I just gotta get off my ass and really just kind of make this work. Nobody wants to have weight loss surgery and not lose a significant amount of weight. I'm no different than anyone else. Like, I want to be a loser, but I don't want to be a loser. I really want to meet my goals. And my goals to me are very obtainable. I know they are. It's not like I have to go out here and do anything major. But I got to do more than what I'm doing, or it will be very difficult to meet those goals. Not just by the end of the year, but also in 2020, because I am still in the honeymoon stage, but the weight loss begins to really, decrease after 6 months. And I will be 6 months in January. It will continue, but it will decrease. So as a result of all of this, guys, I told you every month I have goals that I set. And I told you in a couple of videos ago that I used to have goals of 10 to 15 pounds a month. Well, that's now going to be dropped to 5 to 10. My primary goal right now is to be 250 pounds by the end of this year, which gives me, 29 days to lose 6 pounds, which is very, very doable. So, guys, one of the other things I wanted to tell you about that I introduced into my diet is collagen. Yes, I am now taking collagen, and I had to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with it. Like, I knew I didn't want any pills, because they do sell collagen pills. I just really do not want any more pills. So this powder powder I have, actually, it is very good because it's flavorless, and it mixes very well with coffee. I have started drinking black coffee, and it mixes very well with coffee. But one thing about this journey is you have to find ways to kind of tweak things. So I had to figure out what I could use this with, because I don't want to be buying these things and not using them. And collagen has a lot of benefits. Besides the fact that it actually has a little bit of protein in it, it's also good, which of course, we need protein, but it's also good for your skin, your nails, your hair, as well as your joints. And sometimes, being a woman of a particular age, your girl's joints do be kind of stiff. I know it's partially, probably, usually when I'm kind of stiff like that, is dehydration. But, anything will help. So I just started this, guys, maybe a week ago. Maybe about a week. And I've been pretty consistent with it. So we'll talk about it in January. I'll let you guys know how it goes. If it continues to make me feel better, or if it makes me feel better, I will, just make it a part of my routine with everything else that I'm taking. Also, one of the things that, guys, I don't want to fail to mention, even though that scale didn't move as much as I wanted it to move, I did take my measurements today. And I wanted to quickly share with you guys the fact that my measurements are definitely continuously changing. And I just wanted to give you that information, just because I don't want it to seem like this whole video was me whining and, complaining about the fact that that scale isn't moving the way I want it to, which is why you have to take your measurements, because that will be the pick-me-up, So, last time I took my measurements, guys, was in September. I did a video about it. I told you guys a friend of mine came over, and I am going to actually show you guys everything on the screen, because I log it into my Berrytastic app, which is the best app to me. For bariatric patients, if you don't have it, check it out. It really is a good app, and I know I'm not being paid by them, but let me just quickly show you what the differences are. And I've actually, you know, I've written them down so I can see the difference. But yeah, get that Baritastic app because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of things like your dates and how much you've lost. So yeah, it's really cool. So starting at the waist, guys, back in September, my waist was 45.5 inches. Today, I measured in at 43 inches, which is a 2.5 inch loss. My hips measured at 58. Now I am 54 with a loss of 4 inches. My right thigh was 30 inches. Now it is 28.20, which is a little bit over 2 inches lost. My right thigh was 31. My right thigh is now 30, which is a loss of 1 inch. I had my daughter actually measure my arms twice because my left arm actually is coming up as it's the same as well as my right, except my right is off by a 1/2 inch. I'll take it, at least it's not getting bigger, you know. My chest is measuring now at 47 as opposed to 50 back as it was back in September, which is great. I probably need to really be trying to go get some new bras, but you know, like I said in my last video, at the rate that I'm losing weight, I'm really just trying to wait. And finally, guys, my neck measured in at 16 inches in September, and now it's 15.33, which gives me a loss of about a 1/2 inch. So, you know, your inches will go down. By inches is evident that I'm doing something right, you know, but that scale is something that I know the doctors are looking at. Do you know what I mean? And I just kind of want to get out of that unhealthy range of a BMI. People are out and about, you know, shopping, and the weather isn't the best. So, you know, really be safe out here. And also, I wanted to make a point to, of course, while telling you to love yourself more through your weight loss journey, I think it's very important during this season to also just show patience and kindness, because you never know what someone else is going through. Embracing the love of yourself should never be in exchange for putting someone else down. I never mean to imply that being selfish means being an asshole, because that's not what I mean. That's not who I am. Show some kindness, show patience, because this is a difficult time of year for a lot of people, and you might be able to make somebody's day with a smile or a kind word, or just a little bit of patience. So take care, guys. Thank you so much again for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
People look at you strange saying you changed, like you worked that hard to stay the same. Like you're doing all this for a reason.